Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Welcome to Zillow Group Mortgages and our webinars. We're happy to have you here today. Hope everyone's having a great day. Before we dive in, it's one of those mornings where there's tech issues and all sorts of fun stuff going on for me. So I'm just like, you know what, we're just going to roll with it. For those of you who are new to our webinars, welcome. I'm a little quirky, you'll find that about me, but my name is Mary Louise and I'm the content manager here for Zillow Group Mortgages. I'm also the president of our Women's Impact Network here at Zillow Group. My email is there on the screen, marywe@zillowgroup.com. I provide all of our webinar resources, content. I run our lender resource center on Zillow.com. So if you ever have any ideas for content or have anything that you're looking for, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. Along with me here today is Jessica from our support team. Jessica, will you give an introduction to yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Mary, for having me here this morning. My name is Jessica Schwab, and I'm a part of our mortgage support group. We're based out of Lincoln, Nebraska, and I'm actually in Seattle with Mary today for this webinar. So it's always fun to be here on site to do these. So we do a variety of things on our team. Primarily, we're here to assist our lenders with any profile questions. We want you guys to have the best looking profiles on our site, along with making sure that you know how to use those profiles best too. So we'll provide you some great content here today.
Awesome. I'm really excited about this webinar. There's a lot of good points to talk about with compliance. I know compliance is something that is always on everyone's minds, and if it isn't, it probably is on someone's mind in your office, and you're constantly being reminded of this is not compliant or that's not compliant. Everyone's thinking of RESPA and all that stuff. So we'll dive into that today. Before we do dive in on anything further, just some logistics here. You can check out our Lender Resource Center, zillow.com/lender-resources. We will have a recording of this webinar available sometime tomorrow or Friday. I'm kind of thrown off because we typically do webinars on Thursdays, but I had to push it to Wednesday. So my brain keeps thinking today's Thursday. So if I reference tomorrow as being Friday, I apologize in advance. It's because of the change of time. But anyway, the webinar will be available end of week. And if you do have any questions or need any assistance with your account, mortgagasupport@zillowgroup.com is the best email to reach out to the support team with. And then finally, there will be a Q&A at the end of the webinar. You should see a floating toolbar, and there's a Q&A button there, and you can click on that and submit questions. I'll be checking on that periodically, but again, we'll open up for Q&A at the end. So we start out with every webinar talking about what's new. So what's new in the mortgage world? So something that you may or may not be aware of is that consumers get an email, and we ask them about their experience once they've connected with a lender on our site. And we ask them about their experience, and we call this a CSAT, or customer satisfaction survey. And one of the new things with that is, well, looking at the data, we see that about 50% of the consumers who participate in those surveys say that they aren't having a good experience. So that could be that they didn't get a follow-up from a lender. They just had a poor experience overall. They weren't satisfied with that lender, or they just didn't want to speak with them again for whatever reason. We don't really have a lot of data as to why that is, but we just know that they said they didn't have a great experience. So when they say that they've had a bad experience, what we're doing now is we're going to encourage them to reach out to a new lender. And this impacts you as a lender if someone comes to you through your profile, or if you're advertising or something and you don't follow up in a timely manner, or something just falls through the cracks. That consumer, if they decide to fill out that survey and they said they didn't have a good experience, we want them to have a great first impression of the people that they find on Zillow. So we want them to get connected to someone who can actually help them. So the best way to avoid losing out on an opportunity, especially to competition, if a consumer goes back through, is to be on top of following up. If you get an email or text message alert that you've gotten a new contact, then follow up with them as soon as you can. ask them probing questions, making sure that, that you're providing great assistance, and being consistent with it. If you're not consistent in providing that great customer service, then that one person might be the one who says, you know what, this is not a great experience and I want to talk to someone else. So that's something new that we've pushed out, just again to keep our consumers on the forefront. That we here at Zillow Group like to say that our consumers are our North Star, and they are the ones who guide us in our products. And then if you were with us last month, I talked about this a little bit more. Our housing trends report was published last month, and the link is there on the page, www.zillow.com/report. This is a comprehensive study and based upon thousands of buyers and renters and consumers across the country that we surveyed, asking them about their experience in buying a home and finding rentals and selling a home. And there's so much data there. It could take you hours. I think it's about 180 pages long, but it's there. You can download it for free. I encourage you to check it out if you haven't already. This would have a lot of information to really help you hone in on your business coming into the new year. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to Jessica, and we're going to talk a lot more about keeping your profile compliant.
So the first thing that we want to talk about is keeping your email up to date. So we have a lot of people that, do for many reasons. They're changing employers. And so the biggest thing that we run into with Zillow profiles is people don't know how to get into their account and actually update their profile. So what we typically see happening is we will have someone set up a new account, and then they'll email into us saying, hey, I need to connect my two accounts because Zillow only allows you to have one lender profile tied with your NMLS number. So what we end up doing on our end, on the mortgage support team, is we merge those two accounts and all of that. So there is an easy way to do this, though, for yourselves. As long as you know your password, you can get into your current account and just simply update the email. So you can do that by getting into Lender Hub, and then you will see at the top overview button. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see this box where it says edit for your email address. And you can go in and edit your email address. You can also update your password if needed. And you can do all of this right on your own within your lender account. Most of the time, if you're going to be changing employers. So if you're concerned about maybe not knowing a password, this might be a good strategy to do prior to leaving that employer that you're with, that email address is tied to. At that point, then you could get a password reset and take care of all of that prior to leaving. In the event that you do not know your password, maybe it was a complex password that was required upon your company, or just something that you don't remember offhand, you can email our team, that is mortgagasupport@zillowgroup.com. Let us know that you have changed employers, and you can give us a couple pieces of information, either your current email login or your NMLS number, and we can get in and update that email address for you as well. So either way works. I would just encourage you to try to make this change prior to setting up another account. You will just save yourself a lot of time from having to rebuild your account again. So this is a quick and easy way to do that. So if we want to go on to the next slide, Mary. So the next component of this is keeping your profile updated and current and compliant. If you have any compliance questions, each company is different in their standards for compliance. So I would highly recommend that you're either talking to your compliance team or marketing team to make sure that you are meeting their standards. Zillow has things in place for you that kind of a minimum requirement, having your NMLS number associated with your account, providing an address and certain demographic information. but there are certain employers that require additional information to be listed within your profile. So if you have questions and you've not been given that information from your compliance team, make sure you're referencing back to them, making sure that your profile is fine. The biggest thing that we see when someone maybe changes employers is they forget about their profile, and your profile may go inactive. And if that happens, you'll see a red bar at the top of the page saying that your profile is currently inactive and not. What you'll want to do, go ahead and log into your profile and select that edit profile button. What this does is this will allow you to go in and update all of your demographic information. It will allow you to add a new bio if you want to add or remove any content. Make sure that you're taking out employers' names that were maybe mentioned in the bio section as well. So we see that a lot of times where people forget to maybe take out a company name. So make sure that you're reading through that information. There will be 3 tabs to edit. And then just at the very end, the 3rd tab, you'll be able to save. And then once that is completed, your profile will be updated and reactivated on our site.
Yeah, that about me section, for example, I think that's something that's really important to just check on, because sometimes I see lenders having old company information there because their compliance team required them to have some additional disclosures in there, and then they forget about it when they move companies, and then it's still sitting on their profile, and the consumer or borrower goes there and they're like, what is this? Okay, that's weird. And they think, oh, maybe that person isn't doing business anymore. Do I want to reach out to them? Will they follow up with me if my information was sent to them? Okay, maybe I should look elsewhere because this person isn't on top of the internet.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think, keeping your profile clean and up to date, even going in and updating your bio as time goes on is really important. Some people will say they'll put in a specific time frame of how long they've been in the industry. Well, you need to keep that updated. So, those are like very important little details that really make a profile stand out. We want it to be accurate for you.
Another thing that I think that consumers look at is that picture. It's not something we always think about because we assume, hey, I have a picture there, I don't need to worry about it again. But if you don't have a current headshot of yourself, and if you end up doing in-person meetings with a client, they might not recognize you. I've seen that be the case for some people who had photos from maybe 10 years ago and they've changed in appearance. You get older. Unfortunately, we haven't found that elixir of youth yet to make us look young forever. So, we have to keep those pictures updated so that people know who we are. And plus, if you keep your pictures up to date with, modern outfits and modern hairstyles, it looks like you're keeping up with the times as well. A couple of years ago, I had a lender that I was working with, and I looked at their profile and I thought, wait, this seems really odd. Are we in the 1980s? Because you have a mullet. Do you actually still have a mullet? I was thinking to myself, do I even want to ask this on the phone? But I almost have to, because if I'm a coach and if I'm trying to help them get the most out of this profile, I need to be honest with them. But how do I approach this? So I go, so how long ago was your headshot taken? Just out of curiosity. And they're like, oh, I don't even know. Okay, well, maybe that's a sign we should update it, get something new, refresh everything. It keeps people on their toes. When they come to your profile, they see a fancy new photo of you that's current, then they realize that you are still on top of your profile. And of course, they ended up changing their profile picture, which I was so thankful that I didn't actually have to tell them, okay, no mullet pictures, please. But as someone who's a lot younger, I think, okay, if you're not updating your profile constantly, then or at least frequently, you might not be keeping up with technology, and you might not be the fastest to respond. And as a home buyer, and especially with a competitive market, I need my lender to move quickly.
I would agree. Most of the time we see a lot of people using photos that they're either using on LinkedIn or that their company is posting on their website, their webpage too. So those are great quick ways just to save a picture from either LinkedIn or the website and drop it in on Zillow. And the nice thing is those size requirements that we have specified for our photos, they typically work really well with other photos that are published online.
Awesome.
So it's quick and easy.
It is easy. I remember back in the day having to resize and redo all those, and it was just never fun. Love when our product team makes quick little updates like that, and it's like, yes, we're winning. So requesting reviews. This is something that I think a lot of people, we hammer in on this all the time. You need to be requesting reviews. You need to be consistent about it. But I feel like you guys still get asked all the time, how do I do that? Where do I find that information?
Yes, we sure do. So the easiest way to find this is in your lender hub. And then at the top bar, you will see a place that says reviews. Go ahead and click on that. And then this screenshot is the top portion of that page. So here on the Reviews Hub page, you will not only be able to see this link that you can go ahead and all you have to do is hit the copy button, and then you can drop that link in an email. We have people that like to put it in their email signature. You can share it on social media. However you want to share that is fine. And then at the bottom part of the page, we also show you a live list of reviews that are either published or pending or have been returned to the borrower for editing. We also have some great helpful, tips, FAQs, and all of that as well. So that is a great place to go if you're having questions regarding reviews. And then the next thing that we'll talk about here is sharing your reviews on social media. So we have found that sharing your reviews on social media is very impactful for not only your friends and family that you may be sharing on Facebook or Twitter, whatever the case be for you, LinkedIn, or by email. You can also use this as a tool to gain new business or reoccurring business. So sharing these reviews is really recommended because you're keeping yourself top of mind in people's lives that you're a part of their lives, letting them know that you're still in business and that you're wanting to help people. And so when you're sharing these reviews on social media, that is putting that out there for you to stay top of mind for those individuals.
Yeah, I like the fact that we have Facebook and Google Plus, although I don't know many people using Google Plus anymore. It used to be a thing, but I think it's there just in case you want to have that extra footprint out there. Twitter's big, LinkedIn's big, especially with sharing with your professional networks. But Facebook, I would say, is probably the biggest one just to reach a consumer audience. And to kind of tie that back in, if you have the same profile picture on, say, your Facebook business page as you do as your Zillow profile and your LinkedIn, then a consumer is going to recognize that image between all those profiles, so they'll know who you are every time that you post something. And better yet, if you're using those reviews and sharing them consistently and you're talking about great experiences your past clients have had, then of course they're really going to remember that, like, oh yeah, that one guy did this from his one client, and that seems like a similar concern that I have. I'm worried about having enough for my down payment, or I'm worried about credit, or whatever it is. Those are big concerns for a lot of buyers, especially millennials, with being strapped down with student loans and a lot of debt there. A lot of consumers are thinking, well, I don't know what I really can afford. How do I navigate this crazy, scary mortgage place when, I can go online and research all this stuff, but I just don't know until I talk to someone. But how do I trust them? That's how you share those stories and you gain their trust with those stories.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea if you're getting a lot of reviews in on a regular basis, picking a day each week where you're strategically getting on and posting those reviews on your social media pages. If you're consistent about it, people will start looking for those and seeing you share those on a regular basis. So sometimes it's easier just to pick a certain day and do it versus being sporadic about it. So mark it on your calendar, make sure you go in and share those reviews. Our tool allows you to share an individual review at this time. So when you are going on, each review will have this share option. So I wouldn't necessarily go in and inundate your Facebook page with 10 reviews all at once. I think you'll have more impact going in and sharing 1 or 2 a week, depending on how many reviews you're getting. So we don't want you to overload your audience with too many all at once. So I would say a couple a week would probably be plenty.
Oh, I see a comment here from Mark. He said that Google announced that they're getting rid of Google+. So that's good to know. We'll pass that along to our product team so they can get rid of that option because, apologies for that. But we definitely want to get rid of that Google+ option if that's no longer going to be a thing. So thanks for flagging, Mark.
Maybe we can have something else added in.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I know Instagram is becoming a thing for a lot of consumers. I tend to use Instagram more than Facebook myself just because I don't like all the ads that I see on Facebook anymore. So I tend to just go on Instagram. So maybe we can find something to do with Instagram. No promises though, but it would be really great if that could be the case. We've talked a lot about, going out and sharing reviews, and we've talked about this a lot in past webinars. We have a lot of great resources on our lender resources. Apologies, my internet or my email popped up and it's not supposed to. I shut it down, but apparently it says, you know what? Not today. You're going to be on top of your schedule today. Anyway, with our Lender Resource Center, there's a ton of courses and, of course, past webinar recordings. We have other video content there, so I would recommend everybody checking that out. I wanted to show you our Lender Academy really quickly on the screen. Okay, so if you go to Zillow.com/lender resources, Lender Academy is front and center there. This is a specialized place where you can go and find unique courses. So courses have a specific topic with smaller topics within it. So getting the most out of Connect if you're advertising, if you're not sure what Connect is, more information about that, getting started with mortgages, and obtaining customer reviews, and our review guidelines and moderation. This one's a big one, and I think this one is really important for everyone to check out because we dive into some of those frequently asked questions that the support team gets all the time regarding, like, what do I do if a review gets returned? How do I know where to find that information? What do I do if a borrower can't get into their profile? That kind of stuff. All that information is there. And of course, if you do have questions, we always welcome you to reach out and mortgage support at zillowgroup.com, and that team is super fast. I can't tell you how many times I've sent an email over and gotten a response within an hour. And it blows my mind. Like, you guys, I thought you guys were gone because they're 2 hours ahead of us. Like, nope, they're still there. They're plugging away, and they're pretty quick about following up. So
the great thing about having the Lender Academy courses built out like this is you can simply go in and click on the start option, and then we also give you the topics down below too. So if you know some of the information already, but you've had a negative review come in, you can go directly to the negative review section versus having to go through the entire course, which is a great option. The nice thing about having this information here for you as well is the fact that you can take preventative strategy and know how you're going to handle a situation instead of being reactionary to a negative review coming in. you can already have a plan of attack, because if you're doing a lot of business and you have a lot of reviews coming through on Zillow, unfortunately, not everyone is going to be 100% satisfied. Even if you did a great job, some people are just really hard to please as a consumer. So I think having these tools available for you allows you to just have a better game plan, and not maybe everything will apply right now to you. So, go through a lender academy and look around and see what's impactful for you now, but know that more than likely, these other things will come along down the road, and it's a great resource to have at your fingertips in the event that we're not, in the evenings or over the weekends, and you are needing some assistance. More than likely, it's going to be covered in the Lender Academy as well.
And another option here is to download as a PDF. So you'll be able to download that. And if you are a manager or a team leader, and you want to be able to share that resource with your team, that's a great option, especially if you hire an assistant or you have plans to hire anyone. This is a great way to say, hey, here's some information I want you to take a look at, especially if you hone in and you establish practices for getting these reviews, and you have this consistent process for it, and you want someone else to own that. You can say, here's some information, I want you to handle this, but it's a great resource for everyone. Like Jessica was saying. So, and again, Zillow.com/lender-resources. It's pretty much the same page that you would have gone to register for this webinar. But yeah, it's a lot of great information. We're adding some new things. We'll be sending out an email in the next month or two with some additional resources, including some video content that we're working on. So keep an eye on that page. If you ever have any questions, again, please do not hesitate to reach out. We're always happy to help. We want to open up for this last minute or two for any questions that you may have. So feel free to pop those in the Q&A, or if you want to remain anonymous, you can use the chat. But we'll give that a minute here.
And if you think of something after we get off of the call here today, feel free to email us at mortgagasupport@zillowgroup.com. And one of the members of our team will definitely get back with you and help you with your question.
So there's a question here. How do you use Zillow to hook up with your CRM? It's a great question.
It is, yes, definitely. We see a lot of people using CRMs for managing their contacts. So that's actually something that you'll need to email into our team, and we'll help you with that. If you're currently advertising or something like that, your business consultant can also help you with that. But the customer support team can help you get that added in. It is not an option that you can do on your own. So you actually do need to email in for that.
And it's because all of these different CRMs are so different, and sometimes it requires some technical help on their end to get some of that set up. And it goes into like this technical talk that we don't really need to dive into, but we help you out. We'll take care of that stuff for you.
We just need your posting URL. So when you email in, we'll just need your posting URL, and then we can add that to your profile.
And Matt is asking, or has a comment here, our company surveys won't upload to Zillow. That, I think you're referring to reviews. So correct.
If you are using a third party to obtain reviews, I know that there are a few out there that we hear quite a bit about. We do not work with any third parties. So if you're collecting reviews on a third party site, those will not be synced to your Zillow profile.
Like a LinkedIn review or Yelp or something.
Yeah. Yep. There are some other ones that are out there that collect reviews that we see quite frequently. Questions come through about, social survey. So if someone's leaving a review on those, we don't work with third parties. So they actually need to go to Zillow, leave a review through our site in order for that review to show on your profile.
All right, we have time for one last question here. How are lenders suggested to buyers location review ratings? So we have our lender directory, which does display lenders based on reviews. And there's a couple tabs there on how people can sort how they want to see those lenders. So it could be based on location, it could be based on the ratings, or it could be based on just a mix of all those things based on kind of this complex algorithm we have built into our system. But essentially, it depends on where that borrower's looking. So if they type in Seattle, Washington, then we're going to look at the geographic area of Seattle, and then we're going to pull in all the lenders who have review, actually all of our lenders based in Seattle, and they're going to be listed in whatever fashion that consumer had selected in that search. So again, if they said location or proximity, then it'll base it on their location and ratings, 5-star at the top, and so on and so forth. Hopefully that answers your question. We'd be happy to dive more into that in further detail. If you want, you can reach out to mortgage support at zillowgroup.com. Jess or someone from that team can dive a little bit more deeper into that. Or you can also check out some of our past webinars where we've kind of gone into that a little bit more in detail. But we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. If we don't hear from you before Thanksgiving, I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Take care. Bye.